have going to be your tour guide on the Second Path Safari. This is Lauren. She's going to be helping us out today. We can also give a nice big hello to our driver, Teresa. Everyone say hello to Teresa for me.
Hello, Teresa.
And for those of you that saw the cattle over there on the right-hand side, those are going to be their red and collie cattle. We also have coming up over here on our right, those animals walking around behind that little fenced area. Those are going to be the red lechway. Now, cool thing about them, if they were to be close to us, you would actually see that their back legs are slightly longer than their front legs. They're used to more marshy, muddy environments, so those longer back legs would actually help them walk around. All right, doesn't look like we got anybody here right now, but that's okay, because we're going to continue on. Now we're going to go down this big hill right here. This is as close to a roller coaster as we're going to get today on the safari. Whee! Slow and steady wins the race. Alright folks, as we get ready to go visit more animals, I'm briefly going to go over the rules again. I'm sure you all know it's bumpy out there, so please remain seated for me at all times with your safety buckles on. Also, please make sure you keep your hands inside at all times, so don't try to reach out and touch your animals, because they're not used to it. We want to make sure that we don't starve them. Feel free to take photos as often as you want. Just be sure to keep your devices inside, because if they fall out, can't stop to get them. And please remember, there is no eating or drinking on our safari. Oh, okay, over here now. Over here on the right-hand side, these big animals you see, these are going to be some of our greater kudu. They are the second largest species of antelope in the world, second only to the common eland we saw earlier in the wild plain section. The ones with those big twisted horns you saw are going to be the males, the females don't have them. We also have some of our mute swans walking around over here on the right-hand side. Now, as we get ready to enter the Serengeti grasslands, we do actually have some endangered animals in here, and I will point them out to you. Conservation is a very, very important part to us here at Six Flags and on our safari. So I do want to thank you all again for joining us today, because by coming on our safari, you are actually helping us support our animals. So from our animals, thank you very much for joining us today. All right, folks, so welcome to the grasslands. We do have some of our black buck over there on the left-hand side, but I saw a few more of them scattered out around here. We got another little guy coming up over on the right. I saw a few more over here on the right-hand side as well. Looks like everyone's going to be clustered together here, but that's all right. I'll make sure we don't miss any of them. Now, you might have seen some of the black buck earlier on the safari, but all the ones you see here, these are going to be males. This is what we call a bachelor herd, because their herds are female-dominated. So we can tell their voice because of their darker coloration. As they get older, they transition to a black color, so black buck. They also have those tightly twisted horns on top of their heads. These animals we see over here on the right-hand side with the white tushy tails, these are going to be our white-tailed gnu. Now they do have some younger ones with them. You can see that one right there in the middle. Now, cool thing about these guys, only a short time after their babies are born, maybe about 2 to 3 minutes, they're able to get up, walk, and also run. Not only is that very impressive, but it's also very important for them out in the wild. Because if there would be a predator nearby, they would need to be able to run away and protect themselves. And folks, the white-tailed gnu actually became very close to being extinct, but thanks to conservation efforts, their population is increasing out in the wild. So we're also very lucky to have a herd of them here. Where is everybody else? Oh look, surprise, surprise, more ostriches. Told you there would be a lot of them out here today. Okay, there they are. Alright, I see 2 more animals coming up ahead of us. So the ones I will start with will be over here on the right-hand side. They're kind of clustered around this little tree area. You can see they have those big curved horns on top of their heads. Those are going to be some of our oodad. They are relatives of the mountain goats, so they are excellent climbers. We also have another one of our black buck over here on the right-hand side. You can see those beautiful horns on top of his head. And a few more black buck over there on the right, kind of all gathered in that little circle. We also have these guys over here on the left, and this is the closest we're going to get to seeing a unicorn today, folks. These white animals you see, these are going to be the addax, and this is one of the animals that fueled the myth of the unicorn. When people saw them from the side, they appeared to look a little more horse-like from afar, and also their 2 horns appeared to look like one, so they're like, oh look, a horse with 1 horn, unicorn. So that is one of the animals that fueled the myth. And the addax is also another endangered animal. So we're very lucky to have our herd here of them as well. Now I know someone said they were excited to see lions, so we will be going into King's Land next, which is home of our pride of lions. some of you might be familiar with the lion being called the king of the jungle. We can also call them king of nap time because the lions can sleep for up to 22 hours in one day. Doesn't really matter how big the cat gets. Still going to dedicate most of the day to sleeping. I have a house cat. He sleeps most of the time. And what the lions can do. Alright, well our pride of lions is going to be over here on the left-hand side. Now we call it a pride because they are social cats. Alright, I see two of our males right as we come in. We got one of them laying down here facing us and the other one laying back there on the left with his lady friend. We can tell they're the males because of that big beautiful mane all around their face. It takes about 3 years for that mane to fully come in on the males. We also have a lot of the females or lionesses laying around there. It's actually the females that go out and do the hunting, and they have about a 25% success rate when it comes to catching food. So when they bring the food back, you would think, hey, you know, the girls did all the work, so they get to eat first. No. It's actually the male that will eat first, then the females, and then the cubs will get to go. And that might seem unfair, but while the females were out hunting, that male might have had to protect his pride from another male that would want to come in and take over, so he had a lot of fighting, so he's very hungry. So it's an equal trade-off there for the two of them. Over here on our right, we're going to be passing Morgan, little black buck laying down here on the right-hand side. You can see Morgan and Big Dad back there on the right as well. Well, the next animal we're going to get to visit lives in Black Bear Ridge, and this is home to, of course, our black bears. Now, when we get in here, you will notice that the bears are not behind a fence area, but do not worry. The black bear is much smaller and also the most docile of all the bear species, so that's why we have him out and walking around. Oh, we might get some bears crossing the road. Our animals have the right of way here, so if they want to cross the road or lay down in the middle of it so we can't get around, that's fine. Just gotta wait. Well, welcome to Black Bear Ridge, folks. Aww. Taking its time. And we got some more black bears over here on the left-hand side.
Here they are, guys.
Just cross in front of the truck for us. You can find black bears on 49 of our states except Hawaii. Now we also have a mom and her cub coming up over here on the right-hand side, so you will be able to see them. We also have two black bears over on the right taking a nice big snooze, maybe using the fence as a back scratcher. Yep. And this is one of our mom and cubs over here on the right. Now you will see that they do have their own little fenced-in area, and that's because this little guy isn't quite big enough to be out with our adults yet. So we want to make sure until he is big enough that he has a safe area to be with mom. As we go down here, let's see who else we got. All right. Over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see this little wooden platform, and you will see a brown black bear. That's because black bears have a variety of different colors they come in. And this little lady is Cinnamon. She's our brown black bear. They also come in a yellowish tan color and even a black that is so black it appears to be blue. Not, you know, like bright blue, but it's almost kind of tinted blue. A lot of turkey vultures. Okay. Any black vultures? Black vultures.
There's a few right over there.
It looks like we've got a bear in the water over here on the left-hand side. On occasion, you will see the bears going in the water. They are excellent swimmers. And bears are also what we call omnivores and opportunistic feeders. So what that means, if they're walking along and they find something that they think looks edible and good to eat, you can bet they're going to eat it right on up. That's why when you go out camping deep in the woods, you have to make sure you hide your food and your garbage because you might be visited by a black bear and they might, you know, just relieve you of all your food. Alright folks, as we exit Black Bear Ridge, we are going to be entering our bird sanctuary. Looks like we have a few of our geese in here that like to visit. Sometimes the mute swans are in here, but I think I saw them walking up the hill earlier. We also have one of our male red lechwe over there on the right-hand side laying down. He's that guy with the big tall horns. He's not a bird. That's okay. He can visit here too. Earlier. Walking around over there on the right-hand side, you're going to see that all-white bird. That is our leucistic peacock. Remember, leucistic animals are not like albinos. They can still make some pigment on their bodies, so his eyes are actually a very pretty blue color instead of red. He likes to strut around. He thinks He is awesome because he's like, I am white, not all different colors like the other males. All right, well, the next section we're going to be visiting is Terra Ursus. And it's, oh, hey. Now, this is going to be home to our European brown bears. And you're going to see as we go in here, unlike our black bears and Black Bear Ridge, they're not going to be out walking around by themselves. They will be in behind a fence. That's because the European brown bear is a close relative of the grizzly, so they are more aggressive. So we want to make sure while we visit their home, they have a safe place to be as well as we do. As we come down here over on the left-hand side, we are going to get to see Mom and two of her adorable little cubs. They're over here on the left. I see the one cub over close to the fence, and I also see Mom and cub up on top of the den. Keep a close eye on the bears, folks. They are hilarious. You never know what they're gonna do. Well, we also have another mom and two of her cubs over here on the right-hand side. These are both brothers. The two we saw earlier are a boy and a girl. Now, the brown bears are a lot more painful in comparison to our black bears. These guys can also get a lot bigger. The black bears can get up to about 500 pounds. These guys can get up towards 800 pounds. We've got bears walking around on both the left and right-hand side, so plenty of bears for you all to look at. You will also see we do have trees in this section, unlike Black Bear Ridge. That's because as adults, brown bears really don't do a lot of climbing, but the black bears, they are excellent climbers. Looks like we also have two bears over here on the right-hand side hanging out in the water. They do like to swim. We also have some toys that are in there, such as logs, twigs that have sunk down to the bottom. There's also a hubcap in there. They like to pick it up and throw it around like a frisbee. We also have coming up over here on the left the bear jacuzzi, but it doesn't look like anyone is in there right now. We call it like the hot tub section. But you might see, well, Sarah, they get the pool and everyone else gets the jacuzzi. That's not a fair trade-off. There's clearly more water on the right. Well, do not worry. They have a tunnel up here on the left-hand side, so they can get from side to side if they wish. Now, it is during winter time when the bears will hibernate, and that's when moms will give birth to their cubs. So they actually give birth while they are asleep. Over here on the left-hand side, this is Spot and Scarlet. They're about 3 years old now, and they were actually hand-raised here. And that's because when the winter snow was melting, their dens flooded, and our animal care team was concerned for their safety, so they did go in and get the two of them out, and they've actually been hand-raised, so that's why they have their own little section to themselves. Alright, we just have to wait for our gate to open here, then we can continue on. Alright, now as we travel through this section, this is our wetland here in the safari. You're going to see we really haven't built this particular area up. That's because all wetlands across the United States are protected by law because they are very, very important to our natural environment. So keep an eye out because a lot of different animals live in here that are native right here to New Jersey, such as blue herons, white-tailed deer, and we actually have a pair of bald eagles that do nest in the park, and I did see one flying around the other day, so I'll keep an eye out for it. Point him out if I see him. So as we drive through here, not only does the wetland provide a natural home for a lot of different animals, but also during bird migration seasons, the migrating birds like to stop here and rest their very tired wings before continuing on to their destination. Now since I like birds, I usually keep an eye out here. On occasion, you might see a few of them flying through, but I did not bring my binoculars today, so that might be a little bit difficult. But if I see anything, I'll point them out. Sometimes we see some turtles or maybe some geese and ducks hanging out in the water, so I will keep an eye on to see if we have anything hanging out here today. Alright, doesn't look like we've got anybody hanging out here today, or it might just be able to not see them. But that's okay. So we got some pretty cool animals coming up ahead of us, and they live in Ditchery 2 Pass. So this is going to be home to our Australian animals, but not snakes. No snakes in here, don't listen to that sign, it lies to you. If there was a snake that big in here, I would come nowhere to this place. It's too big. Too big. Alright, let's see. Alright, looks like we have a welcoming committee as we go in. See some emus. I also see some kangaroos. Alright, as we come in over here on the right-hand side, these are going to be some emus, another member of the rat-type family, so a cousin to the rhea and the ostrich. So they are also, in fact, flightless. And if you take a close look at their faces, you're going to see it is actually blue in coloration, and that varies from each animal. So the brighter the blue is on a female, the brighter blue her eggs will actually be. They're kind of like a bluish-green color. Now I also see some of our red kangaroos lounging up ahead of us on the left-hand side. And lounging is what our red kangaroos like to do best. Got some of them down there. And I see a big group of them over here on the left right by this tree. The ones that are kind of the reddish-orange color are going to be the males. The females are going to be primarily gray in color. Oh, look at the little one. Hi. Oh, real tiny. And does anyone know what we call a baby kangaroo?
Oh, it's hard to see them.
Joey, absolutely correct. That's a really guy. But you can see those big back legs on them. They're excellent jumpers. These guys can jump about 10 feet straight up in the air and about 20 feet forward. However, they cannot jump backwards. So technically, if they wanted to, they could jump into the truck with us. Has never happened. Kind of wanted to, but now it's going to. We also have some more of our mute swans over here on the right-hand side. I see a few more kangaroos coming up on both the left and right-hand sides. Now, if any of you are familiar with the ray kangaroo, they do like to box one another when the males compete for the females. On the one time I came by here, they weren't boxing, they were just kind of like slapping each other in the face, and they stopped, they held hands, and then they continued. It was adorable. Oh, that's a real little one over there on the right. Alright, who else we got coming up? Looks like we got some more emus strutting around. Now folks, the emu is the closest we're going to get to seeing a dinosaur today. Now why that is because when they were first making Jurassic Park, they watched the emu walk around to get the animatronics for the velociraptor movement. So that is the movie fun fact of the safari. But that's okay, because we got another one of my favorite animals coming up. So far we've seen lions and bears, so what do we have left to see? Tigers, yes. And they live in Tigris Asiana. We have two species of tigers. We have Bengal and Siberian, and unfortunately, folks, both of them are critically endangered. So we're very lucky to have them here. There are also a lot of conservation efforts going on in the wild to help their population numbers. We also have some more hoofstock animals running around this area, so I'll keep a sharp eye out for them. Sometimes they like to hide and I can't see them.
No, we're just getting hang on.
Just have to make sure that gate closes. Alright. The first tiger we're going to get to see is one of our Bengal tigers over here on the right-hand side.
Look at those.
Alright, yep. This is Corel. He's one of our male Bengal tigers. And he's also very big for a Bengal tiger. He's a big fella. And you will see he is not orange and black. He is actually white with black stripes. That's because Bengal tigers have 4 different color variations they can come in. Absolutely beautiful animals. Now, if Corel was facing us, you would actually see that his eyes are blue in color. That's because the blue eye gene is linked to the gene for the white with black stripe coloration. So you're always going to find those 2 particular traits together. Now, along with Corel's color and your traditional orange and black, for the Bengals there is also the golden tabby with butterscotch stripe. That's my personal favorite. And the rarest of all is white with white stripes. So we're going to get to see some more Bengal tigers coming up over here on the right-hand side as we make our way around this fence. Looks like we're going to get to see 2 more white and black and an orange and black stripe, but you can see our 2 golden tabbies. If you look behind this little fenced-in area, I can see the one laying down there. And we have 3 more of our Bengals out here. One walking around, catnap, catnap. All right. We will also see, unlike the lions, we have water in here for the tigers. And that's because, unlike most cats, tigers love the water. Not only do they like to play in it, but they can also use it to their advantage out in the wild to help them hunt. Oh, zonked out. Big day already.
Down there.
Up. Hey.
There's Tom. And Harvey.
Alright, now we also have the biggest cat species in the world coming up over here on the left-hand side. This is going to be our Siberian tiger. Looks like we are also laying down over here on the left-hand side. Now out in the wild, when these cats catch food, they can eat about 90 pounds of food in one sitting, folks. 98 pounds of food at one time. That's a lot of food. Now why that is because the tigers aren't always guaranteed to catch food when they go out hunting. So when they do, they have to make sure they eat what they have just in case they don't get food the next time they go out. And we're also going to have 3 more Siberians over here on the left-hand side. In here we have Spot, Stripe, and Chubbs. They were all raised together. Now since they have our backs to us, if you take a look at the back of their ears, folks, you're going to see they have white circles on the back of their ears. Now out in the wild, when the mom and her cubs are hunting in the really tall grasses late at night, looking for those white circles is one way they can help keep track of one another. Now our tigers, they're kind of really doing much right now. That's because they are what we call a crepuscular animal, which means they're going to be most active between dusk and dawn. So they do a lot of their activity at night, which is when they would hunt. So their eyesight is excellent along with their hearing. We also have some more of our oodad over here on the right-hand side, as well as some of our black buck mixed in with them. Oh, look at how tiny you are. Oh, you're so little. Look at the little face. Oh, aren't they cute? I love them. Now remember, folks, these are the oodad we talked about earlier. Relatives of the mountain goats, and they are excellent climbers. Sometimes they like to jump into the feeding trough and claim it as their own. I've seen that on occasion. Alright, looks like that might be everybody for this section. But I do see we have a very rare thing coming up over here on the right-hand side, folks, and I will ask you to all give her a nice big thank you wave to our gate guards. They have a very important job because they need to stay out here, rain or shine when we are open, to make sure our animals don't make a beeline for it out of the safari. So come hang out with you guys in the park. I know who wouldn't want a kangaroo to go on the roller coaster with me, but we have to make sure everyone stays safe and sound in their safari home. Now this is the end of our safari, folks, but thank you so much for coming out and joining us on open day. Did you guys have fun seeing all the animals today? Yeah. Excellent. So again, folks, my name is Sarah, this is Mark, and our driver's name is Teresa. So let's give Teresa a big hand for driving us around. Where are the monkeys? That is a great question. Unfortunately, we weren't able to incorporate the monkeys as they had envisioned. So they're not out here again this year, but they're trying their best to figure out the safest way to incorporate them. Because as much as we would just like to drive you through the baboons, as this is an open truck, fun for them, awful experience for us. They will come in here, sunglasses mine, purse mine, anything mine, and we would never see it again. So the baboons are a little bit tricky to kind of incorporate, so we're trying to figure out the best way to incorporate them. But I'm going to let you in a secret. You can see the baboons today, but there's a trade-off. You have to go on Bizarro. And once you get to the top of the hill, if you look over on the right-hand side, you can see the baboons. I have tested it for you. You can see them. They look like little round dots, but you can see them. Also, Bizarro is awesome. It's the closest roller coaster to us. And if any of you still want to see some animals today, if you look